There's only one way to bring in the new year. With the puppy! Happy New Year from me and Sasha. Just wanted to do this quick video for you guys because I love you. And you just wanted to get on camera, didn't you? She's so sweet. What's going on, my YouTuber subscribers? Hope you guys are having an amazing start to the new year. And I wanted to make the first video of the year something that we all can relate to. How can we beat Squid Game Season 2? I had a chance to watch Season 2 recently and I was just like, you know what, way to start the video off, start the new year off with Squid Games talk. Let's talk about that. More specifically, how you can beat all three of the new games introduced in Season 2. A six-legged relay race and a new game called Mingle. I'll get into the rules and how you can actually, beat the games in it, but right now let's just get into the nitty-gritty about how you can beat the games in Season 2 of Squid Games. Well, quick thing I'm going to say real quick is that we're not going to talk about the actual games that are being played off the island. We're only going to be discussing the three main games we got in episode 1 through 5. That's the red light, green light game. There's also the six-legged relay race game, and also the new game called Mingle. Do not worry, I will go through every game and the rules verbatim, piece by piece. So now that we got that all out the way, let's talk about it real quick. Get into it. Not gonna waste your time. How can you beat Season 2 of Squid Games? Let's go. First game we're going to talk about is the red light, green light game. You pretty much remember that game of Season 1, and it is as follows. Pretty much you have a group of people, all 455 of them, and more or less you guys are going to start on one end of the field, and you have to go from one end all the way to the other end, which is pretty much the size of a football field. I'm playing the children's game, red light, green light. You know how that goes. Pretty much if you only move on the green light, stop on the red, but if you move on the red, you're dead. We can say right off the jump, a lot of people die playing this game because pretty much you realize that, hey, I'm gonna get shot in the head by, well, when a person gets shot in the head, then you know it's bad news bears. Okay, first game, pretty much here's what we know. Here's our game plan. We gotta get from the start line to the finish line, not let this evil doll of death see us move. Seems pretty easy, right? To beat this game more or less, I think you've seen it before, but here's how I would do it. Listen up. The first thing you're going to do is pretty much just go to the end of the field against the wall, because this game is being played inside an arena with two walls on the side. Pretty much what you should do is have your back against the wall and move side by side against the wall, so that way when the song stops playing, you can stop moving without having any chance of you falling into the sand or just falling down or moving at all, which is going to equal death. And moving against the wall on this side, it guarantees that when the song stops playing, you or yourself are going to stop in place and you're not going to stumble, you're not going to lose your balance. And when the bullets do start flying, you're going to make sure that when you react, you have your bodies against the wall and you can use the wall as a brace, so that way you cannot be moved and not get detected by the evil Chinese doll of death. Disclaimer, I'm pretty much telling you how you should survive, but I'm also going to be projecting how I would survive. So pretty much this video should be how I would survive Squid Game Season 2. But that wouldn't look good for the title. Pretty much how I would do the first game with red light, green light games. Pretty much just go against the wall and just walk along the wall until you get to the pretty much end of it. That way you avoid getting hit by any player, getting hit by any debris, getting hit by a spot, by any blood. You have 5 minutes to complete this game. You pretty much just go against the wall, go all the way down, and you can just, use your legs to just cover more great distance. And that's how I would beat the first game in Season 2 of Squid Games, red light, green light. Now the next two games we're going to talk about are brand new games introduced to the franchise, and these games, when I saw them, woo, they're a doozy. Second game is pretty much a six-legged relay race game, and pretty much here are the rules of how this game goes down. Before we figure out how we can actually win this newest game, let's figure out the rules for the six-legged relay race game. Here we go. For the rules, players are required to team up in groups of 5 and designate one player to each minigame. Teams of 5 are then adjoined by their legs, hence the term six-legged, which forces them to walk together in a circle from station to station. Teams have 5 minutes to complete all 5 minigames of the marathon and cross the finish line in order to stay alive, while the losers are killed on sight upon failure. Okay, so the short version is pretty much that we have 5 people. We're all going to be tied up by the leg and pretty much have to go around to each station, or 5 stations. We've got to go around this circle, and at each station, each player has to play a mini game, which I assume is going to go from hardest to easiest. Okay, our first thing is that let's make sure we have 4 other people who are confident in the skills that we got to do for this mini game. What are those 5 mini games you each got to do? And remember, you have like what, 5-10 minutes on the clock? One of those minutes. Here's the first mini game you got to pretty much do for person what? The first game is Ddakji, the game that we should all be familiar with this franchise. Pretty much all the player had to do is throw the card on the other card to flip it up, and if you do that, you're allowed to go. Pretty simple game, but like I said, if you do not know how to throw that card like perfectly on an angle to make the other card flip, then it's bad news bears. Try not to do that. So that's simply the game that I'm like, I would not do that one, so don't look at me. So yeah, moving on to game 2. In game 2, the flying stones. This game involves knocking over one vertical stone on the ground with another stone from a distance of roughly 10 feet. Pretty much the short version is you take a stone and you throw it at another stone. Pretty simple, right? Should be good. If you fail the mini game, you pretty much have to redo it and keep doing it until you pass it. Only one player is assigned to that mini game. They have to do it. What's the problem with throwing a stone? Well, it's pretty much hand-eye coordination. So all you have to do is just line up that shot, throw that stone, boom, you're done. So if you're like a whiz at first-person shooters, I think you'll have a good time with this game. Pretty much knock it out. So, if good hand-eye coordination, you will do good in game 2. So here's game 3. I'm gonna also warn you real quick. Game 3, I had to watch like a couple of times to pretty much understand it, because I was just like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know what they're doing with these little jacks or marbles. But here are like the official rules of this game. The official rules of game 3 is that this game is called re-inject, and it requires players to catch pebbles or plastic stones through a series of levels, ending with all 5 landing on the back of the player's hand and catching them all to complete the game. And so pretty much what that means is that, okay, you're gonna get these marbles or whatever. I guess you have to catch them one at a time, but you have to catch them in sequence. So say there's 5 marbles. Throw up 1, catch that 1. Throw up 2, catch 2. Throw up 3, catch 3. Throw up 4, catch 4. Throw up 5, catch 5. They pretty much what you have to do is you throw up all 5 of them, flip them, catch them on your hand, and then flip that and catch it back. Boom. I feel like that is absolutely the hardest game to do. It seems like kind of easy on paper, but again, it's one of those like, you have to just, I assume you don't have to throw them up high. It's like pretty much just throw them up, throw them up, boom, you got it, easy. I'm going to say right off jump, that would be the game if I was assigned to it. Well, we're just dead. Shoot us now. So I would definitely recommend that. If you're a player that pretty much is good at just catching those pebbles, you're just pretty much focused, tune out the clock, you'll be good at this game. On to game number 4. Pretty much game number 4 is the spinning top game. This game requires that the 4th player to wrap a thin rope around a metal top and release it onto the floor. The player wins if the top spins. It's a much simple, easy game. You got a top, you got to tie a rope around it on the bottom. There's grooves in it, but again, you have to make sure that it fits. Spin the top like a Beyblade and then watch it spin. If it spins, you pass game 4, you go on to the final game, game 5. Again, these games are really easy and really self-explanatory, but again, this game does have a backfire, because if you end up spinning it and it goes behind you like one character did, that was a real bruh moment. The player have to back up, get that piece, and go back to the starting position to spin it again. So that's one thing you got to remember in all these games. If you mess up, if the game you're playing or one of the pieces gets away from you, all the players have to move backwards to get it, and then move back forward to the starting position to pass it.
What the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
And again, remember, you are on a time limit. So again, if that 5 minutes runs out and you do not pass that cross line, it's dead on sight. Now for the 5th and final game in this relay race before you cross the finish line and go to victory. Here we go. Here's the rule. The 5th and final game is arguably the easiest game. Players are required to kick the toy in the air like a hacky sack 5 times consecutively. The final game is pretty much hacky sack. So pretty much you get this little pom-pom or this little hacky sack back, and the 5th player kicks it on their foot. They gotta do it 5 times in a row consecutively. That one sounds pretty much easy more or less, but how one player achieves it is that they almost missed the 5th shot, but since all you guys' legs are chained up, you pretty much just flew player 4, flipped his leg up, so that way player 5's leg would end up hitting the hacky sack and they won. And it's one of those good hand-eye, foot-eye coordination type deals. If you are good at hacky sack, you should be able to knock this game out. But again, easily way to do this is just hit the hacky sack, but don't hit it high. Pass all 5 of those games and pretty much cross the finish line before the timer runs out, and you have officially passed the official 2nd game in Squid Games Season 2. And now for the 3rd and final game, which I feel like is arguably probably the hardest game. There are exactly 6 games in Season 2. They only show 3 of the games, so the other 3 games we're going to get in Season 3. So here is the final game you gotta know how to survive in Season 2. Here we go. The name of this game is pretty much called Mingle. How it works, the simple version is that all the players are going to get in the center of this merry-go-round. It's going to spin around and play a little humming, little song. Nice song and dance. When the song is over, the merry-go-round going to come to a stop and then a number is going to be called. And it's up to the player to get a group of people matching that number and going to a door that are on the outside of the merry-go-round. If all the players have the correct number in their door, they survive. If not, it's death. Okay, this game is definitely like a ho-ho. Okay, point in the game, I would definitely highly suggest that you get some friends or at least a group of people who you are kind of good with, you know, because at this point in the game, some people have voted to stay, some people have voted to leave. If you voted to leave the game, then I suggest you know, get with the exits. If you decided to stay for the game, what's wrong with you? But for the sake of the video, I'm going to explain how we can survive this last game. So here we go. The first best advice I could give you pretty much is that I want you to listen closely to the number that's being called. If that number usually is going to be a high number, the first number was called 10. Number one advice I give you for this game that's going to guarantee you that you pretty much have a chance at winning is that don't look for people when the merry-go-round stops to get that number. What you need to do is go directly to a door. Go directly to a door. So that way when the number is being called like 10 or 7 or 5 or 2 or even 1, you're already at the objective. The objective is pretty much to get inside a room with the correct number. Easier to sell like you're at the door already. You're like, hey, I need 4 more people because the number is 5. 4 people, come over here, boom. It's easier to be at the door already than to be in the merry-go-round area, scattered around trying to find people like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. So my best advice would be to just go to a door and just wait it out and just call people over. So that way, if it's a high number, it's easier to be like, hey, 4 people, come here, boom. Even better, if it's a short number, like 3 or 2, it's easier to be like, hey, I'm at my door. 2 people, come over here. I just need 2. And if the off chance that more than 2 people come into your door, well, there are no rules against killing them. As long as there's not a pulse in there that exceeds the number 2, you'll be safe. That's pretty much how I would survive the 3rd game of Season 2 of Squid Game. And that's my opinion on how I would survive the 3 main games that we're playing in Season 2 of Squid Game. That pretty much know that this is like a silly video, but it's a video I wanted to kick off the new year with, also with doing my new format of the channel. This was definitely a challenge because I had to read off a script and I'm also like freestyling it, so maybe I'll try to freestyle it better. But I hope my video was very clear for you guys on how to survive the 3 games of Season 2 of Squid Game. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Have a great new year. Comment below, let me know, talk about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for clicking and subscribing. And as always, subscribe. Until next time.